Hey, good morning. Hey, it's meteorologist Ben Peine here for Ben at 10 in Extol Studios. We are in Uptown, New Albany on this Tuesday, April the 8th, 2025. And I think we're going to have a fun show today. I've got some different things to show you. I'm celebrating Masters Week this week. I've got the Borden gear on today. Perhaps instead of baseball, this should say basketball, and that might be kind of a hint of something we'll talk about as well. I've got to give a big congrats to someone out there, a coach I think many of you know around Southern Indiana. If you've been any part of high school basketball over the last 20 years, then you might want to stick around for some news out of Borden, Indiana. And of course, we're going to be talking about some more of the flooding. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later. We're going to get into our beautiful weather. So a little bit of fun, also mixed in with some of the serious details of the flooding that we still have ongoing across the area here again on this Tuesday, April 8th. Thanks for tuning in. By the way, if you can like, subscribe, we really appreciate that. As long as you're here, we're going to be here. I do want to thank some folks that have been helping us out at Extol Studios and Ben at 10. We've got New Washington State Bank. We've got Libs Paving Company and also Lions Roofing. So look in the upper right-hand corner. You might see those. Their logos toggling on and off every now and again. Also, we've had this question a lot right here. Right there, Ben, Peine. So that is the real spelling of my last name. I know it might still take a little while to get used to that. Still getting used to it myself. For 17 years in the television industry, they wanted me to go by Pine to make it simple, I guess. But I'm going back to my real last name, going back to normal, and it's a little bit of a change. Peine. Again, like I said yesterday, I like the piney scene right there behind me. So Peine is the correct spelling. All right. Thanks for tuning in here at Ben at 10. It is now 10:02. You can go to xtolmag.com/weather. We're going to be checking out the 7-day there to hear a little bit. I've already updated today's weather story, which digs a little bit deeper in today's weather the next several days and things like that. So we're going to be talking about that. But first, let's take a look at this guy right here. Who is that? So in honor of Masters Week and our friend John Daly, who kind of has some local ties here, that is me. We're talking 1990. Yeah, right around 1990. This would be right before good old John Daly won the 1991 PGA Championship at Crooked Stick in Indianapolis, Indiana. I was nearby that time. That's my brother Adam on the left. He's about 6 years older than me. That's my grandma, who has since passed away back in 2005. She lived into her 90s. Grandma Peine there. So who did it better is the question. Whose mullet was better back in 1990? John Daly or Ben Peine? We both love golf, and obviously he's quite a bit better than myself. Speaking of golf, here is Augusta National Golf Club. This is the 12th hole to the 13th hole. If you're a fan of golf, a fan of the Masters, I spent about 3.5 years down there from around 2005 to 2008, and I got to caddy there as well. So I would do my show on the NBC local news there until about 8 o'clock, and then I got to do what we call a loop. So a loop is 18 holes. Sometimes we get in a couple loops caddying out there, 36 holes. Make a little extra cash when you're not making much cash when you're in your mid-20s. So quite a while ago. I remember being different places and just telling myself, take in this memory and never forget it. And it lives up to every expectation. If you ever decide to try to get out there, get tickets. I know it's hard to get tickets. It's expensive. But there is not a weed that you'll find on the grounds. It is amazing. It is hillier in person than it is on TV. And the greens are amazing. I got to play it 4 times as a caddy. They've got a caddy day, and then a few times within the media as well. So cherished my experience there in Augusta. So why are we talking about Augusta? Well, it's Masters Week. Today's the second practice round. Tomorrow they do practice rounds, but they also have the par 3 tournament where the families come out. Always fun to watch. And then we've got the 4 rounds, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Always love to check it out. There's me I was trying to mimic Tiger Woods back then in 2005. I think Tiger won it. And I remember seeing him on a picture of him on the third hole, and I was trying to mimic that perfect Tiger swing back then. I remember we were on hole 15 caddying, and if you know the course, there's a pond right in front of it, and you can try to get on in two. And there we saw some golf balls right by the green, and we picked one up, and it had TW on it, Tiger Woods' ball. I did not get to keep it. One of the other caddies put it in their pocket. So it's probably Tiger Woods' ball. Also, one time, the not so good memory I have at Augusta National. So I was caddying for Hootie Johnson's group. We'll get to some weather, by the way, I promise, but it's Masters Week. All right, so Hootie Johnson was the chairman of Augusta National from like the 90s to the mid-2000s, and I was caddying for his wife. Pressure was on. Hootie Johnson's group's behind me, and on the 9th hole, we actually see Jack Nicklaus, his drive, and we stop and watch Jack Nicklaus go up 1. It's right next to 9. And then I'm probably a little distracted or whatever. I have Hootie Johnson's wife hit the wrong ball. We go up to get her ball. It's not her ball. My heart's racing because I'm trying to do the perfect job. Chairman of Augusta National. I go back. We grab the different ball and just try to forget and move on. But a little embarrassing moment there with Hootie Johnson's wife and the former chairman of Augusta National. That's me there in front of the clubhouse. And it was really cool being helping out. I would help the sports people out. And I would take video, I would log video. If someone hit a cool shot, I'd log it down, run it back to the production truck. The par 3 was really fun to just be right there up on the greens, right next to all the players. And we had full access to go right through the breezeway there. And we could go upstairs and check out the cupola up there where sometimes the amateurs will stay up top at the clubhouse there. There was my badge number 184, still a little keepsake that I keep with myself there. So, all right, there's the caddy days at Augusta National. So just going down memory lane. Now, here's the big news. Okay, back to basketball. So we just found out today that Doc Nash, long-time amazing coach at Borden High School, is signing off as Braves' longtime coach. I just want to give him an incredible congratulations. I coached golf at Borden back in 2015 for a short time, and then my hours wouldn't allow it, but he was always very welcoming. He called me coach, even though I didn't really feel like I deserved to be called coach. My son has been in his program last year playing basketball. Loved the way he conditioned the players, pushed the players, got them to their full potential throughout the season. Obviously here, let me put it back up full screen. A lot of accolades here with Doc Nash. And of course, Doc, if you're familiar with high school basketball in Southern Indiana, he won state champion 2013. He knows every athletic director, every coach in Southern Indiana and probably beyond. From New Washington, Indiana, and then came over to Borden to be a high school coach. 5 sectionals. And we're talking a program that didn't win basically anything in basketball up until this time. So 272 wins, 19 years with the program, 2 regional titles, and again, state champion. So congrats to Coach Doc Nash, and well-deserved time off from putting in everything, heart and soul into that program. And if you've ever been to a Borden basketball game, if you look at him on the sidelines, it's kind of entertaining. I mean, he is yelling and screaming and giving it everything he possibly has. So once again, congrats to Doc Nash. Now, I'm going to pivot just a little bit. So today is, and again, I promise we'll get to some weather, so thanks for staying on board here. I'll check your comments as well. So good morning, a lot of good mornings there. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. So April 8th, 31 years ago, do you guys know what happened? April 8th, 31 years ago. And I bring up my license from from 1996. So this is for 29 years ago, that was my license picture. Notice the long flowing locks. I was like the 4th Hanson brother back then. We might talk about me growing that hair back out someday. But So I may have had a fascination, a passion, obsession with the grunge music era. If you're middle-aged like me, your parents probably didn't like it very much, but we all know it's the best music. And of course, who started it all, really got it going, was Kurt Cobain, found in his place. You know what happened. April 8th, 31 years ago. Can you believe that? I just wanted to give a little trip down memory lane there and a little embarrassing photo of myself. Okay, all that is to the side there. Just want to show you some of that. Celebrate Masters Week, celebrate Doc Nash, and just go down memory lane before we check out your forecast here. So today, it is looking beautiful. High up to 50 degrees, sunshine. Yeah, a little cool for this time of the year. We're running about 17 degrees below normal for now, getting closer to mid-April. Quick shout outs here. Kathy Willis, thanks for tuning in. Judy Tyndall, good morning to you. Sunshine today, Teresa Thomas says. Beverly Haggis, thanks for watching from Borden, Indiana. Robin Titchener, love the Masters. You and I both, and many across the area. By the way, Southern Indiana, Kentuckiana, huge golf region. I mean, wonderful supporters of the game of golf here in our areas as well. Beverly Haggis, I was stationed in Augusta, Georgia when I was in the Army. Oh yeah, Fort Gordon down there. I got off at the Fort Gordon exit, took a right, and then that's where we lived, so right next to there as well. Love going back there. Miss my time in Augusta, Georgia. Cold, but loving the sunshine. Rita Harmon and Angela, thanks for tuning in. Morning Nirvana. Yeah, it is a Nirvana kind of day after all the messy weather that we had. So also, this is your show. I want to remind you, if you want me to take a look at a forecast somewhere, we've got the tools and the technology to look at wherever you want to look across the country. If you just want, and we'll look at the river information again for those of you with some interests along the river, and look at that interesting information with the Ohio River cresting. It looks like tomorrow into Thursday, so it still has just a little bit way to go up, even though it is still very, very high. So wonderful forecast today. Tonight is going to be a little bit chilly. So this morning we had a freeze warning, some frost across the area with temperatures dropping down to the upper 20s and lower 30s. I saw some frost as I was getting going this morning, around 5:30 this morning, very early. It's going to be chilly tonight. I don't think we'll see as many upper 20s, but we're going to drop, looks like around 31, so there could be some patchy frost. Still may want to protect some of those sensitive plants. We talked at length yesterday about the frost and freeze program. You're only going to see frost and freeze advisories or warnings during the beginning and end of the growing season because we're thinking about agriculture and we're thinking about planting. So tonight the winds will be calm. It'll be mostly clear as well. Quick preview of the 7-day forecast. And of course, some of you log on in early to our live Ben at 10 here in the Extol studios in Uptown, New Albany, whether you're watching on my Facebook page or on Extol Media on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for sharing and getting the word out. But a lot of times I'm going to start with kind of the meat and potatoes, get you the forecast right off the bat. We'll get a little weather nerdy as we move on into the program here, kind of midway. We'll kind of do some, get into the details for you weather enthusiasts, dig deeper into the science of meteorology, and then we'll wrap up for those who tuned in a little bit later, and again, show you kind of the meat and potatoes of the forecast once again. So there is the 7-day forecast. Let me go full screen with that. Today, 50 degrees. Tonight, down to, we'll be dropping down. Actually, that is yesterday's. Let me pull up today's I'm going to remove that and bring up today's 7-day forecast. By the way, you're going to find today's 7-day forecast on xtolmag/weather. So there it is, full screen here for you. So I had the old one from yesterday in the slideshow. Here's the new one for tomorrow. 60 degrees for Wednesday. A chance for a few showers, and we'll be looking at this with our future radar here in just a moment on the weather models. And it just looks like some really light stuff developing in the afternoon, maybe a little drizzle, some sprinkles. Not much with this. This will not aggravate the flooding that we've already had across the area. And then some steadier showers tomorrow night. And I think that first batch is going to be leaving us very early Thursday. This is actually timing out very nice, as it looks like we're going to be having most of our daytime dry Wednesday and Thursday. And then by Thursday evening, I got that 40% chance on there for that. So by Thursday evening, it looks like another little batch of showers moving through. That should start to exit the area off to the east and southeast early Friday. Might be a little drizzle, kind of that lingering stuff we sometimes get early on Friday. That leaves us mainly dry on Friday. And then a beautiful weekend shaping up. I'll go back to full screen so you can see that. Again, I popped this up here on xtolmag.com/weather. You can also get your interactive radar, as we do get some rain to move in tomorrow with some other tools there for free. You don't have to download that interactive radar. It works just as good as many of the apps that you get at the App Store. So 60 degrees tomorrow. We're down to 49 tomorrow night, and then 67 on Thursday. And then 54, a little bit cooler Friday. So still a little bit cooler than many of us want, but it gets better as we see some 70s as we go into next week. Saturday, 60 degrees and some sunshine across the area, down to 40 Saturday night. Looks like almost full force sunshine this weekend. So it's going to be great if you have some plans to be out there, out and about outside. 68 on Sunday. If you're like me, I need a bush hog to get through my front yard right now. It's been too wet to try to mow the grass, and I fertilized the grass a week before all of that rain, so it has just been shooting up. So later today, that's my big job, is to try to fire up the mower, which hasn't been fired up since last early fall. So we're going to cross our fingers on that. So then tomorrow, or Monday, 78 degrees and 72 Tuesday. So looking forward to some warmer temperatures early next week. There is a chance of a couple showers. The Euro and the GFS and the Canadian weather models, they're all a little bit different on the timing that far out. So I just put a couple small rain chances. We're going to be fine-tuning that as we get closer to early next week. And again, I just want to mention on Xtol Weather right here, right side is your interactive radar, short-term forecast, current conditions. And then if you click on the weather story, this is what I've put together a little bit earlier today. You've got your forecast today, tonight, some of the model maps that I'll be showing you here shortly, just a little more detail to what's going on. So with all of that said, we'll take a look at some of the current conditions across the area as we bring up our program here. And I'll go ahead and go full screen. And this is a look at the radar and satellite across the entire United States. Look how nice and quiet it is over where of course, we deserve this dry time. We need to dry out for a long time. And we do not have heavy rain in the forecast and no severe weather in the forecast. That old front is off into the Atlantic Ocean. As we zoom in here, look at this. Severe clear was what pilots sometimes call it, as we don't have any clouds, a perfectly crystal clear blue sky for hundreds of miles around. So it is looking beautiful out there. I'm going to go ahead and bring up some of our current conditions across the area. Let me take a look here. Just bear with me for a second. I'm going to go back to the models. And I'm learning this program as you're learning this program as well. So I've got so many different models. You'll see me clicking on the upper left-hand corner here. And we're looking ahead here to our temperatures right now. I also want to put on the surface, turn the METAR, that's the current observations across the area. Those are going to pop on here. So it shows still in the 30s across the area. And we can also just kind of plot out. So chilly out there now. As we back up our view, it's actually pretty cool over much of the United States. These are the current conditions, the METAR observations, the automatic observations of the weather stations, generally at airports and places of aviation. But notice you got 20s to the north, but rather cool start across much of the United States. Look at those. Still a battle between winter to the north and warmer air to the south. You still have a little leftover winter. Look at those single digits up there just north of the Great Lakes, down to the 20s in Michigan, 30s here, and then off to the south you've got 40s, but rather cool across much of the continental United States from coast to coast. and border to border. I'm going to bring up our future radar here. Let me turn off the METARs there, the current observations. Go back to the weather models. I'm going to keep it on the NAM 3 kilometer. Actually, I'm going to switch this over. Bear with me just a second to the high resolution rapid refresh weather model, and I'm going to go to reflectivity. So this is going to show us any precipitation on the way. None whatsoever today. Just to enjoy that beautiful blue sky that we have across the area here for a while. Just adjusting our camera view as we get a little bit closer in, and I'm going to take that into tomorrow. So we're going to be talking about a little bit of a light rain chance tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. It's definitely not going to be a big deal for us. And again, no issues with flooding as that approaches our area. So I've just jumped ahead here. I know it's hard to see in the upper left-hand corner, but this is noon tomorrow, and there you can see some rain starting to develop off to our northwest as I go full screen right there. I'm going to leave this up for just a second because I want to get back to some of the comments. I'm just taking a look at where we left off here. Richard Baker, let's get the golf courses dried up. Still wet to play. It is still wet to play, Richard. And I've got a golf trip this Friday up to Salt Creek in Brown County, and it was amazing. I'm going to show a picture probably Friday of before and after. The Salt Creek covered up the entire golf course except for the greens. All you saw was muddy water over everything. And then the next day, Salt Creek went down and the grass reappeared. So actually, we should be able to play this weekend. Laura Young, hello, Mom. Good morning. Thanks for watching at 10:12, about 10 minutes ago. I got that comment. Carla Lake, thanks for tuning in this morning. Diana Piney, my stepmom, watching this morning as well. Scott Bell, my father-in-law. Thanks for tuning in. Always appreciate the support. Got the family members watching. And thanks, friends, for tuning in. To Ben at 10. We're now at 10:22. We've been going here for about 22 minutes. And I want to also mention that if you do come on a little bit late, again, we'll go back to the today, tonight, 7-day forecast towards the end of this. And then also, let me know, comment now. I'd love to see the comments. If you have any questions, want to see a forecast somewhere across the United States, I can do that. But also, if you're watching, say, this afternoon, the replay, or maybe you've gotten home from work and chilling, also comment then, and I'll look over some of the comments and do my best to answer any weather questions or whatever, different parts of the day. So you don't have to be live to comment. Thank you very much. Thanks for liking or sharing, whether you're on YouTube or on our Facebook Live or our Xtol weather page. Lots of places to get us these days. Lydia Lewis, thanks for tuning in here. Sheila Milburn, good morning to you. Julia Goff, glad to see you here. And again, Kathy Bryant, thanks for tuning in this morning. All right, we'll go back to full screen, and this is, again, just took a little shift just to get some comments, but back to full screen here. This is at noon tomorrow. We're still dry, so dry for much of our Wednesday. And as we move ahead here a couple of hours, this is around 1 p.m. tomorrow, 2 p.m., still pretty dry, 3 o'clock. But just notice some kind of sprinkly activity as we get a little bit closer here. Looks like some steadier rains just off to the north, maybe a little bit heavier up towards Indianapolis, and then up towards northwestern Indiana, towards Lafayette and Chicago. For us, and I think the sprinkles that we see tomorrow afternoon mainly streaming along and north of Interstate 64. And again, if you're tuning in, as I promised, midway through our live stream, it's going to get a little bit nerdier here. So we're just going to dig into the details, showing you the nuts and the bolts and the stuff we look at here as meteorologists. Well, obviously, we got a lot of products here, all the different weather models and the different parameters we can look at. So just taking some time here, and then we'll get back to the nice, shiny forecast graphics towards the end of this. But again, as you can see, pretty much light stuff, little drizzle, little sprinkles, maybe light passing rain shower tomorrow afternoon. This is at 4 p.m. As we get later into the night, I think we'll see the rain starting to overspread more of the area. So Wednesday night, overnight, early Thursday morning is when we see, but you can see most of this is still on the light side. This is at 10 p.m. tomorrow, starting to see the more widespread showers, as I mentioned, here in southern Indiana and beyond as well into Kentucky. And we might get a rumble of thunder as we head through the overnight, but the severe weather threat is super low. There we see it starting to ramp up a bit. That is overnight. That is 2 a.m. going into early Friday mornings. And it looks like that batch will pass quickly enough. I know it looks red and it looks kind of blobby and bad looking, but again, I'm not expecting that to linger long enough to cause any extra flooding concerns across the area. Generally, we're looking at probably about a half inch or less of extra rainfall across the area. We're getting towards the end of the length of this high resolution weather model, the high resolution rapid refresh weather model. This is the 48 hour model, and it's going up until right there at about 7, 8 o'clock. And notice by around sunrise Thursday morning, that's moving out. So that's a good timing because a lot of us are going to be able to sleep through that rainfall. It moves off to the east, and then a lot of our Thursday is going to be dry and actually a bit milder as we head into the 60s for Thursday afternoon. This means I need to shift to a longer range weather model. So I'm going to put up this one right here. This is the FB3 high res. This goes out about 60 hours, and then I'll probably have to shift into the GFS to look a little bit longer past that. All right, so this is looking at 8 p.m. So this is, I need to jump ahead. We've already seen that with the high res stuff, but it does match up pretty closely. This is midnight. Again, this is just a different weather model looking at the overnight period. Again, this is late tomorrow night into early Thursday morning. During the overnight, looks like that's when we'll have some of the heaviest rainfall moving through the area. Picking up those heavier rain showers, again, while a lot of us are snoozing. So good timing there. This weather model also has it scooting out of here at around 7, 8 o'clock. And so if you're keeping track here, 8 a.m. I don't want to click too fast and confuse anybody. 8 o'clock, stop there. Starting to dry out Thursday morning. So what is the rest of Thursday going to look like? So now we're at 60 hours. Now we got to switch to the GFS high resolution. And we're going to, this is our Thursday at 11 a.m. So we got some dry time here. Might even see some sunshine for Thursday in the 60s. And then later in the day into the evening time, we have another batch of some showers that'll try to move through. So this is kind of a two-piece system. Tomorrow night, overnight, you got the heavy rain potential. That moves out. A lot of Thursday is dry. Now, the higher resolution weather model, the NAM 3 kilometer, has most of the daytime dry Thursday. GFS paints a couple showers around the afternoon. Again, I think it's going to be Thursday night, the next good chance of some scattered showers. This is 2 a.m. Thursday going into Friday morning. And then by around sunrise Friday, I'm going to back up our view here. There you can see that system starting to pull off to the east. That leaves most of our Friday dry. Like those timings. Again, nighttime rain chances mainly, and so leaving a lot of the daytime dry. As we go forward, we're looking at dry weather here Friday afternoon. It's going to be cooler behind that front. Let me put on the temperatures here with the GFS Friday afternoon. So we're dry Friday afternoon. We're behind a cold front though. So this is at 5 p.m. Friday. I don't think it's going to be quite that chilly. As I mentioned yesterday, some of the raw data that we get on the weather maps is maybe sometimes 5 degrees cooler than what's going to be actually the apparent temperature that we'll have. So it's showing around 50 here Friday afternoon. I think we're talking maybe around 54 for our high temperature Friday afternoon. Mostly cloudy day as well. So kind of hard to warm up here. We're going to be trending about 10 to 15 degrees below normal for Friday. And then as we move ahead to Saturday, we're going to stay dry. It'll be a little bit on the cool side. I'm kind of punching ahead here to trying to get to our Saturday afternoon. Oops, I jumped ahead a little bit farther than that. And then we're actually going to get a bit warmer by the end of the weekend. I think we could touch the upper 60s. So this is actually looking, ooh, that's nice. So we do have some milder temperatures. If you're on here earlier, we saw the 7-day forecast. Gradual warming trend through the weekend, lots of sunshine. So we're going to be hovering around 60 Saturday, upper 60s on Sunday, and then maybe some upper 70s on Monday. So kind of a gradual transition after a chilly weather pattern here as of recently. As we back up our view, there you can see springtime kind of winning out late weekend and early next week. cooler weather up to the Pacific Northwest. With all of that said, we still have some things to talk about with the river levels. So let me go ahead and bring that back up. And we'll dig into some of the river levels. Let me look at some of the comments before we get into some of that. We'll bring up, if you want to follow along, again, like we've done last week into this week, water.noaa.gov is where you can find, again, a big improvement into the river level products from the National Weather Service. So still at our flood warning with the Ohio River, and we're going to look at those river levels as they're expected to crest over the next couple of days. Robert Simpson saying next week is going to be yard work extreme. That is right. It's going to be maybe extreme for me later this evening if I can get the mower fired up. I've got a backup mower, and we'll see if that one will fire up as well. Pray for me as we need a bush hog, as I mentioned earlier, in our front yard. Dodging dog turds as well. They've been out there busy in the front yard the last several days. So that'll be fun. Lydia Lewis, we're going to have a lot of rain this summer. Who knows on that? That is definitely a too far out forecast here for us at this point in time. Hopefully not. Hopefully we just get those friendly pop-up, every afternoon pop-up shower or thunderstorm. And Orlean Whitlow, looks like we got a lot of sunshine today. Full force sunshine, sun-drenched, as they call it sometimes. All right, let me go ahead and bring full screen up the river levels. And we're going to click on the upper gauge. So this is downtown, and if you've been driving over the Ohio River and checking it out, it is a sight to see. It's something we really haven't seen since 2018. And the river level right now is about 35.76 feet. Normal pool is 12 feet. So you're talking more than 20 feet above the normal pool. The forecast crest is tomorrow at 37 feet. So I think that might be just a tad higher than what the official forecast was yesterday at 37 feet. That is, if you're following along here, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, the crest, and it stays at the crest level or near that into Thursday, and it doesn't show us going back below flood stage. We're right about Saturday morning going into minor flood stage. So from moderate flood stage to minor flood stage this weekend, and it might not be maybe until after the weekend when we get back below minor flood stage and out of flood stage. So keep in mind 37 feet. I know this is kind of hard to read, but this is a look at the historic crests at 37 feet. That would put us at 8th on the all-time crests and highest river levels, and 36.4 feet. That was back in 1907. And at 37 feet, we're only about a foot and a half below what we had in 1997. So definitely up there on the record books. Let me go ahead and get rid of the upper gauge. I'm going to go to the lower gauge here. And speaking of the Ohio River, by the way, we can take a live look at it here with the Ohio River Falls Foundation. There is a look at the very swollen Ohio River. Let me back this up here a little bit. The Falls of the Ohio Foundation, excuse me. And so they've got this really nice camera. You can visit their website and check out the live cam, and it'll pan, from west to east along the river. You'll see a little portion of downtown. This is fallsoftheohio.org/webcam if you want to check out that beautiful blue sky. There you can see the riverfront and the park area there. Ashland Park, it looks like. There's a look at the city there in the bottom right-hand corner. And again, nothing but sunshine out. Look at the size of the trees that are underwater. Obviously, that's a steep bank if you've ever walked down there that goes to the Ohio River. Just incredibly, incredibly swollen there. Way bursting the banks. Also, it's kind of cool. The Falls of the Ohio River has the river levels. They're using the lower gauge, it looks like, with the forecast crest at 67 feet, which is about where we are now. And it shows the different shells and the coral and the different things that get covered up at the different stages there. Again, that's the Falls of the Ohio Foundation if you want to check that out. Speaking of the lower gauge, we're going to go ahead and switch to the lower gauge page and bring this up full screen. And so as the Falls of the Ohio page said, we are at 67 feet, and the forecast now is to go to 68.5 feet for the lower gauge. As we go down here a little bit farther, we're going to look at the historic crest. So 68.5, if we remember correctly, that would put us at number 11 on the all-time crest. That number 11 now is 68 feet. So if we do get above that, that was back in April 18th, 1948, puts us very close to 1847 flood. 1997 was all the way up to 70 feet, so a couple feet below what we had in 1997. So nonetheless, way, way up there. So the flood impacts at those levels, at 67 feet, where we're right now for New Albany, Blackiston Mill Road floods at Silver Creek in Clarksville. We know if you're from this area, you know some of the issues around that area with the bridge, which that road is closed. Lock is closed at 66 feet. Floodgates at Riverport are closed. 65, we're already past that. Parts of US 31, Dixie Highway flood from the Gene Snyder interchange to West Point. Got Salt Creek coming in there. Riverfront parks in Clarksville, New Albany, we know if you've been around there, have flood. We're not supposed to get up to 71 feet, so we don't really need to go up beyond that. Go ahead and clear that one out. And if you look at the broad view of all of the river gauge stations, so red is, so the barge traffic is going to be shut down for a while, backed up barge traffic for a while, because downstream you've got flooding out here around St. Louis. You get the Mississippi River coming in, you get the Ohio River coming in, and then red again is flood warning, and then in the moderate stage, and then the purple colors, that is flood warning in the major flood stage. So ongoing flooding downstream. This has just been so much water. It's about, I'd say, a 10-year event on average. Of course, we had a similar one back in 2018 and 1997. So pretty rare, definitely, to have this kind of situation. As we zoom back into our region, okay. Let me check it out here. Just looking at some of our comments. Mary Dale, just so happy to see that beautiful sunshine. We are too. Robin, are you able to look at Owensboro, Kentucky's flood stage? I have family down there. We certainly can. So we'll look at, there's Candleton, and then Owensboro is right here. We can bring that up full screen as well. So that is in the moderate flood stage. We go to the full page here. For Robin Titchener tuning in. Got some family down in Owensboro. So right now we're at 45 feet, 45.9, so almost 46 feet. The crest is at 47 feet, and it's a long crest, long drawn out crest. Typically you see kind of a curve that's a little sharper and it drops off pretty quickly. So much water, so it's just staying elevated. You have to have the downstream waters to get out of the way before the upstream waters can get out of the way. So a long drawn out crest. 47 feet is below major flood stage for the Ohio River at Owensboro. Of course, this is downstream from Louisville. And let me remember that, 47.6 feet. So 47.6 feet would be 47 back in 1948. That's number 7. So we're looking at right near top 5 flood, maybe number 6 or 7 on the historic crest for Owensboro. And again, we're talking 47.6 feet for Owensboro. And so you got parts of Smothers Park may flood, should stay, so we're below 50. That's when it says that's affecting the lowest land in Owensboro, well back from the river due to the sewers backing up. So it looks like, I'm guessing Owensboro's on a high enough area that it looks like it's more like lowland flooding there. 41 feet, minor flooding occurs affecting mainly bottomland and surrounding lowland areas. So that's where we're at. And notice the crest here at Owensboro continues in the moderate flood stage all the way. So this this is a long time actually. So we're here today. Here's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So that would make sense. You're downstream from Louisville, which the crest goes down to minor flood stage this weekend. You're downstream. It's going to take longer for those waters to clear out. So in moderate flood stage for longer. Kind of interesting to see that. And then some of the smaller river systems, if you're up around the East Fork of the White River, the Muscatatuck River, if you're up in Jackson County, northern Washington County, into Lawrence County in Indiana. So you're talking Bedford, areas around Brownstown, Medora, get the covered bridges in some of those areas. East Fork of the White River in Seymour is loading up here, and it looks like we've made it past the top of the crest. It was a major flood stage going to moderate flood stage, it looks like today, and then down to minor flood stage Thursday. So that's for Seymour. Downstream, again, probably taking a little bit longer. This is in Bedford, Indiana. We are heading towards the crest. So the crest downstream on the East Fork of the White River and close to the Muscatatuck River is up to major flood stage. Basically now, let me drop this down just a little bit. So major flood stage through Thursday, moderate flood stage into Saturday. We don't get out of minor flood stage till next week. So even it's a good sized river, not the Ohio River, but even some of the smaller river systems are staying in flood stage for quite a while. This is the Rolling Fork River near Boston in Kentucky. And we are currently sitting at major flood stage, 50 feet. This shows us going down to moderate flood stage Thursday, minor flood stage Thursday, Friday, and then out of flood stage with the Rolling Fork at Boston by Friday into Saturday. So yeah, flooding impacting a lot of areas that have interests along any kind of river system. And then we talked about the Kentucky River in Frankfort yesterday. And so we're getting towards the end of the crest. That's been a major flood stage. So it is going to be in major flood stage, it looks like, through the overnight, moderate flood stage. So we're going on the right trend. The curve, the bell curve is going down there for the Kentucky River. So that's all the flooding. Still obviously a lot to talk about with the flooding conditions, with the historic floods that we've been dealing with our river systems. Good to see the creeks, the smaller rivers starting to look a little bit normal. A lot of the lowland areas, and that flooding is going to take quite a bit longer to clear out. Again, just a beautiful look at the Falls of the Ohio Foundation camera that you can look at live, and just look at all that water. I couldn't even guess how many tons and tons and tons of water flow are cruising down the Ohio River right now. All righty, so we will get back to a quick forecast, and then we'll probably start wrapping things up. You're welcome, Robin. Thanks for the question. Happy to help out here. I'm going to go ahead and go back a few slides here. Bear with me just one second. I'm going to remove this and add this. So back to the forecast for today. If you've been tuning in, thanks for staying this long as we got through the nerdy portion of our live stream here at 10:44. I am meteorologist Ben Peine here in the Extol Studios in Uptown New Albany on a beautiful Tuesday, April 8th. As we bring up the full screen graphic, there you can see today's forecast. We are looking sunny, blue skies galore at a high temperature at 50 degrees. Just nice and cool out there. Running about 17 below normal. Average high is 67. North wind at around 5 to 10. Overall peaceful day, sweatshirt weather. If you're like me, and again, we talked earlier about Coach Doc Nash at Borden, hanging it up, retiring, well-deserved, put in 19 years at Borden High School basketball. I got the Borden shirt, celebrate his retirement, but also My daughter's first tennis match is tonight at Providence. I hear they've got a really talented squad out there, so should be fun. But my point is, sweatshirt in the afternoon, but I brought the coat because it can be deceiving with that sunshine. Once that sun lowers in the sky, yeah, maybe a little bit of a breeze, 5 to 10. Time to bundle up if you have some after-school activities, practice, or watching the kiddos play. Might definitely want to bundle up. So my daughter's at Providence, 4:30. I'll be heading out there. I love to be able to see my kids play sports, which is awesome these days. And then my son has, I think, Crothersville coming to Borden tomorrow at 5. So we got Borden baseball tomorrow. You'd think I'd be used to pointing at things with the old green screen, but it's still a challenge sometimes. All right, let me go back to our full screen graphics. Today is beautiful. And then tonight, so this morning we had that freeze warning. And then tonight we have a freeze watch. Could turn into freeze warning for parts of the area if it hasn't already. National Weather Service may have already updated that forecast. And so we're down around freezing overnight tonight. You may want to protect some of those sensitive plants, maybe some of those flowers that are on the front or back porch. So just be prepared for that. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go ahead and remove that there. Bring me back up. Add this. I'm just kind of controlling a few things here. Want to turn your attention to xtolmag.com/weather. So here at Xtol Media, Jason Applegate and his genius has put together a weather page which is full of resources. I did point it out yesterday for you, but want to show you what we have here. Let me hit the refresh on this, and we've got Ben at 10 live. You can find that on our xtolmag.com/weather. You can also, of course, meteorologist Ben Peine, which will eventually become Piney when Facebook decides to change that. And then on YouTube, Xtol Media, like, subscribe. We really appreciate that. And then you can see our 7-day forecast, today's weather story, where I've written up a piece where you can kind of dig into more information. By the way, here's severe weather outlook. There's a U.S. drought monitor for agricultural concerns, regional radar, storm reports, severe weather watches. The warnings will be on the interactive radar and the regional radar as well. You've got Kentuckiana rivers and lake levels. That has obviously been very important lately. And you've got NDOT weather traffic cameras across the state of Indiana. So a lot of different tools here. Just kind of a one-stop shop if you ever want all different kinds of weather information. So we click on the severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. So the Storm Prediction Center's big job is to look across the United States out from Norman, Oklahoma, and see where severe weather might happen. So we've got nothing on the severe weather outlook for today, and we love that. As we go to what's called the convective outlook, convection is thunderstorms. That's all you got to think about for that. So it has for tonight, it doesn't even have a level 1. It's just got an area that's marked out for the potential of some thunder, garden variety stuff. That would be overnight tonight, early tomorrow morning. So going into that would be Wednesday night, going into Thursday morning. So obviously nothing today with that blue sky. This is day 2's convective outlook risk from the Storm Prediction Center. This would be for late tomorrow night. If you were on here earlier and we were looking at future radar, you saw some of those deeper red colors late tomorrow night, especially around 2 a.m. into early Thursday morning. That's when we might hear some rumbles of thunder, but really not concerned about severe weather with that. So don't be afraid if you hear that thunder. And then going into Thursday's severe weather risk outlook here, just a level 1 south of us. So that marginal, that light green, that's level 1 out of 5, which you typically don't get much severe weather with that. And then the very, very light green is when you might have some thunder, but no severe weather is expected. So actually, no severe weather for the rest of this week. That's very nice to say. And no flooding, no aggravation of flooding that we already have from the, I would say, overall minor amounts of rainfall. I think a lot of the area in general will see about a half inch or less of rainfall, with the steadiest rain that we'll get late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. But as I did point out earlier, let me go back to xtolmag.com/weather. On the 7-day forecast, the good thing here is the rain chances throughout the rest of this week primarily at nighttime. And so we're going to have a lot of dry time during the day. So back to the 7-day forecast. I'll bring this up full screen for you. Again, right here at the webpage, you can find it at xtolmag.com/weather. We always start the 7-day forecast the next day. So today we know sunshine and 50 degrees. Tomorrow, 60. If you look at the text there under that rain chance, that's just where I put a little more specific detail into when I expect the rain or what impact there might be that day. I just put light and late. There might be like a little bit of drizzle late tomorrow afternoon into the evening time. And then that steadier rain, I put that rain cloud in between Wednesday and Thursday because I think it's mostly an overnight thing. And then 67 for Thursday. I think we'll have a lot of dry time during the day Thursday. That'll get us up to 67. That is our normal high for this time of the year. You can see the normal high, the normal low, some of the almanac data on the bottom of their 7-day forecast. Sunrise 7:17 today, sunset at 8:13. So if we have a high around 50 today, our sunset's at 8 o'clock. After sunset, we're going to be dropping into the 40s pretty quick to a low near freezing tonight. So it'll get chilly once that sun drops off. And then 40% chance of rain Thursday. I think that is mostly into the evening time. And then might have a little drizzle left over very early on Friday. So that's why I put that little 20% chance there. 54 for that high on Friday, mostly cloudy. Sun should break out all over the place this weekend. Looking good to maybe get that first mow of the season in this weekend. 60 degrees Saturday. Still a little bit cool. And then we're back up to normal temperatures Sunday at 68 degrees. And then above normal temperatures, maybe 10 degrees above normal. I'm shooting for an optimistic high temperature of 78 degrees on Monday. So love it there. All right, just looking to see if we've got any more comments there. Lydia Lewis, yay blue sky for sure. Tim Cron, thanks for watching. New Albany Fire Department. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for all of your work and all of you guys do. I hope you guys have a calm day out there. And I'm going to go back here. So once again, where we started, if you may have missed this, if you didn't join us, signing off, longtime coach Doc Nash, Borden High School, 272 wins, 19 years, 5 sectionals, 8 SAC titles, state championship 2013, 2 regional titles. Congrats there. We are also celebrating Augusta National Masters Week. And finally here, you decide who did it better. As we wrap up our bid at 10, Xtol Live, John Daly, Big John Daly, who again has some local ties here, or myself with the mullet, the blonde mullet there. I think it's almost identical. I mean, look above the ears. We got it tapered just a little bit up. Nice and smooth haircut. I don't know what happened to that beautiful blonde hair of mine. And then you've got the nice, what do you call that, Jason? Just a mullet, right? I think I was trying to like pretend to be a skater kid back then and just ended up being John Daly. But I don't have John Daly's skills, that is for sure. So you decide, John Daly or Ben Peine. And again, I want to put up here really, really quickly, there's been some controversy about my last name. So right here, that is the correct spelling with that extra little E right there. Like Heine Brothers Coffee, Peine. That's what it is. All right, that'll do it here for us. Thank you very much for tuning in. It is 10:53. We've been talking a long time here, covered a bunch of stuff, had a little bit of fun. Hope you did too. Again, we are live here from Xtol Media Studios in uptown New Albany, Indiana. Beautiful New Albany on a beautiful day. And thanks for commenting. And again, if you're not watching this live, thanks for watching the replay. That might be on YouTube. That might be on Xtol Weather on Facebook, maybe right here on my page as well, or on our website, xtolmag.com/weather. If you want to comment later on today, again, maybe you're watching this in the afternoon, maybe you're watching it later on tonight, feel free to check that out. I'm kind of constantly checking out some of the comments, and we'll try my best to get back with you. So again, grab the sunglasses, enjoy that sunshine today. Not too shabby outlook for the rest of this week. We'll see you tomorrow on Ben at 10.